remember to keep your arms and legs uncrossed. That's all right. Right. Okay. Are you ready after seeing that last one? Right, so what's your first name?
I'm Catherine.
Catherine, what do we need to fix?
Well, I'm out of kilter. I had a huge baby, 12 pounds 8.5.
Oh!
Well, 12 pounds 8.5. And I think that's still out. That was 14 years ago, but it's still out. I've got plantar fasciitis, which makes everything tight. My Achilles, this leg is awful, and my hip is very painful.
Right.
I have a sore lower back. Comes up to my shoulders, and I constantly tight my neck, and I end up with migraines.
All right, so as soon as she started describing the feet, the surgeon just said he can fix. Yay! That's good. Okay, so yeah, thanks. I'm not sure which surgeon it is, which is interesting, because there's one that always says, I can fix, I can fix. Okay, right, okay. Right, so now, by now you've already seen a few healings, and the brain could start to wonder, well, how does this work? And I can only tell you how I perceive it works. And what happened for me was at the age of 31, I was working for a bank. I was the training manager for the north of England for Lloyds Bank. So I was based in Leeds, and I looked after staff from midway between Leeds and Birmingham right the way up to Scotland. That was my job. It was a really responsible job. And I started seeing dead people. And I told my line manager,
Big mistake.
my first line manager was great. He said, I'd always thought there was something different about you. I worked at the Management Training Centre, and of all the people he'd seen go through the Management Training Centre, he said, there was something different about you. And his words of advice to me, not everybody is as interested in development as you are, because I am. I'm interested in human development by, let's push the envelope. If we can levitate, let's learn to levitate, yeah? Maybe next week. But my second line manager, oh, I was a loose cannon, and oh, I saw dead people, and it was terrible, oh, in his world. So what happened for me was, very spontaneously, a surgeon came into my body and started healing a chap. So let me put it into context. I was at a workshop in Regent's College, and I was assisting on the workshop. So I wasn't the trainer, I wasn't a delegate, I was assisting. So I'd already done that particular workshop as a delegate, and then I'd volunteered to assist the trainer. It was a big workshop, 64 people on the workshop, and I was the assistant. And the people were learning something called NLP, neurolinguistic programming, and my job as an assistant was to work with them in groups and give them feedback on what they were doing and help them refine their skills. Another of the assistants had a really bad back, and he kept pestering me to work on his back. At that time, I'd only done training with the National Federation of Spiritual Healers. And the reason I'd done that training was I was in London. Now, what's happening for you? Any sensation yet?
I could just feel my heart just pounding, not
Yeah.
quickly, but just slowly.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really conscious of it.
Cool. But feeling nice and relaxed?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. So, in London, on the London Underground, after I'd started seeing dead people, long story short, I was visited by the first of two of my guides. I've got lots of guides, but the first guide physically met me, as in the flesh. Other people saw him. That's a bit weird. I've not heard of other people having that experience, so it did freak me out a bit. And he told me why I was here. He told me I was here as a healer and a teacher, not to forget the ones that can't see. The ones that can't see will still feel the vibration. Now, one of the hardest things for me is saying no to people when I can do this. I am, as of this month, only seeing people at shows because I'm here as a healer and a teacher. That's what I'm here to do. I can help a lot of people in 2 hours. If I was just in a little room, seeing one person at a time, I'd probably help 4 people in 2 hours. This way, you all get shifts, you all get healing. This is a much more effective way for me to work. Anyway, healer as a teacher, don't forget the ones that can't see. The ones that can't see will still feel the vibration. It meant nothing to me. I was a bank manager. So I took myself off and I did a workshop with the National Federation of Spiritual Healers. Great training, excellent trainers, Jack and Jan Angelo. Jack and Jan, you're awesome. Hope you're still going strong. And then, about a week later, another guide manifested to ask me if I accepted the responsibility for what I was here to do. I'm glad I sat down for this one. Right, any sensation for you in your feet so far?
No.
No, okay, just try walking around. I'm curious to know what extent we've got a result yet. No, it's still the same.
Clicking.
Say that again?
Clicking in my back.
You're clicking in your back,
Yeah.
and you don't normally click in your back?
No.
No, right, okay, so they're working. It's cool. Right, hands are still going. Right, so on the NLP workshop, this chap has got a really bad back and he asked if I could heal him. And all that's happened is that when you do the introductions at the NLP workshop, I've said that I've done a workshop with the National Federation of Spiritual Healers. He heard that and thought I was a healer, and so I tried explaining to him, no, I'm not a healer, I'm a bank manager, I've done that workshop, but will you heal my back, will you heal my back? And in the end I gave in and said, yes, all right. He laid down on the carpet, just me and him in the room. I put my hands over, one over the top of the spine, one over the back, like the National Federation of Spiritual Healers had taught me to do. Closed my eyes, Mother, Father, God, please grant a healing for this your child. And at that point, there was a man's voice from outside here, not in my head, but here, just said, right, now we're going to teach you how to really heal. And from that point on, I didn't have control of my body, and nor did he. He got somebody holding his hands, somebody holding his feet, his spine started to click, he was stretched like he was on a rack. Within 20 minutes, what was happening in my head was, he'd make a noise, I'd open an eye, the man's voice would say, get out of your head. I'd think, I don't know how to get out of my head, how do I get out of my head? Imagine myself walking backwards out of my head, spring back in, open an eye, get out of your head. Well, I don't know how to get out of my head. It was an absolute farce, but it didn't stop the healing. And that was the first of many, many healings 24 years ago. Now, along that journey, I also learned Reiki. I use Reiki on myself every day. I use Reiki for distance healing. But when I'm with a client, I let the spirit doctors work through me. Now, just try extending that foot. How's that feeling?
That's feeling good.
Feeling good? Just try walking on it. See, I'm busy talking to you, and then I realize, oh yes, we better finish off this.
Do you know, my feet feel good. This hip's still not great.
No, but the feet are feeling good, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that. Yeah.
That's
feeling
good, eh?
Yeah.
Right, cool. Now we're going to do your hips. So to do your hips, I need you to stand here. This, I reckon, is faster than the length of time you wait in the doctor's surgery. And I'm seriously, next tour, I'm thinking about having a show just for doctors to bring me their clients they can't fix.
Need a big
Which would be everybody. Now, I'm going to be straight. In New Zealand, I've done this for 24 years, so I took time out to have the kids, but I've been working healing for 24 years on and off, and in that time I've had 2 doctors in New Zealand refer people to me. I've had 2 doctors come to my shows, and already in the UK I've had 4 doctors come and see me work, and a surgeon, and you know, all credit to them for being open-minded enough. Whoa, do you know, I felt I was falling in a big hole then. That was really weird. What's happening for you at the moment?
Just feel like it's like a heartbeat down in my stomach. It's just a regular
Yeah,
beat.
yeah, cool. A pulsing.
Yeah.
It's most likely, it's what's called a biorhythmic pulse, most likely. But that was weird for me. I thought I was going to fall through the floor. That was very weird. Okay. So again, a bit like we saw with one of the other healings tonight, this is now quiet, but don't think nothing's happening. This can be very, very intense healing. Hips, when do we get energy stuck in our hips? Childbirth can do it, absolutely. Big baby like that. As my sister, I've only had small babies. Sarah was 3 pounds, 11.5 ounces. And my brother-in-law made the mistake of saying something about childbirth. And my sister's very witty response was, it was like shitting a watermelon.
Mine was like 2, I think.
But we forget it so fast, don't we?
No,
We forget
so you
it.
can see
Oh,
her face.
no, not always. Oh. Now, both my pregnancies were very quick. Very, very quick. That's weird because that sound hasn't got all the strands to it it normally has. Just try walking around. I'm curious now.
Pain's still there, just legs feel a bit more.
Yeah, cool. Right now, so that I can get into that hip, you're going to need to just face these guys for a little bit because I've just got to go front and back of hip. Cool. God bless. God bless. God bless. Cool. So we are spiritual beings, and we have a physical form. The physical form keeps our awareness here on planet Earth for a number of years, and we are only here for a number of years. And you are going to have more ideas than you have time. You can't do all of it, so you're going to need to choose. And most of us need to actually do less, not more, to get more quality in our lives. So you really need to think about how much time you're going to have here and what you want to do with your time, how you want to spend it. A lot of people get caught up, there we go, I can feel that now. What's happening for you?
Just a bit wobbly on the
A bit wobbly, yes, all right. So basically what they're doing, they're making an incision into my groin to release this for you. And she's like, thanks, guys, I really need that. So what happens while they're working with me, there's usually 2 or 3 working at a time, and one of them will say, oh, beautiful, or good work, and great work, and it's like 2 of them are captivated. Whoever's doing your work is maestro, really good, because the other 2 are just like, oh wow, look at that work, it's great. So as I was saying, hips, I just remembered I was talking about hips. When do energy get stuck in the hips? Yes, it can be childbirth. It's also major decisions in life. Our major movement of our physical form comes from the hips. The left hip is letting go of old things in the past that are painful, we need to let go of. And the right hip is the big decisions. It's a big stride forward. So you've got a big decision imminent. Yeah? Cool. Do you know what that decision is? And are you happy and comfortable with it?
I think it's having an empty nest.
Yeah.
I've got to move on.
Cool. It's the next stage in your journey. It's how you're going to use your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all those, that would be what I'm talking about. You've got all these ideas. You haven't got time for all of them. You can't do all of them.
Yeah.
So which are the ones that are really important for you? Now, they've got to stretch that out. Just walk around a little bit for me. They've still got to stretch it out. Cool.
So it is moving.
Yeah, it's
Feel
moving.
it ebb.
Yeah, cool. Right, they're just still stretching it, still stretching it. Once they've got it right, then they will strengthen it. So let's try and join some dots. So thoughts in your head gets reflected as feelings in your body. Your good feelings you feel, your not so good feelings get stuck. Childbirth, there's a lot of, how much more is it going to hurt? Really? Another? Yeah, so there can be fear in there, there can be the pain, of course, from the childbirth. And so what the surgeons are doing is they're bringing energy in. It's all about energy. There's no great secret to it. It's all about energy. They don't try and fix you. That would be pure ego. Something weird. I'm being given pain in my left shoulder, although they're working on the hip, and I went all wobbly from side to side. So I just try walking again.
Having an ebbing feeling, but it's the pain's still there and it's tight, very tight.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and I've got my fingers stuck together at the moment, so I know they're still working. Cool. Alright, so they're wanting me to say to you, it's not about losing anything this next step in your journey. It's about reflecting on, it's about time for you, time just to be with you. It's not necessarily about doing things on that horizontal level. It's about going deeper within you, having the time to explore who you are.
Okay.
Yeah?
I have a vocation. I'm a teacher. I feel I ought to teach, but I don't know if it's the right thing.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a vocation. I feel I ought to teach. I don't know if it's the right thing. If we look at the words, I feel I ought. I feel, if it was just I feel, that'd be fine, but I ought is of the brain, the ego. And I think, so we can, from the words, we can work it out. So you're moving towards teaching, but the question is teaching what?
I am a teacher, but
Yeah.
it makes me ill.
Ah.
I'm very stressed about it.
Yeah.
But I have
Yeah.
a vocation and a talent there.
Yeah, cool. So is it the system? Is it the, it's not the teaching itself, it's everything else?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But hang on. I'm going to go out of balance if you keep doing this to me. So what they're doing is they're moving my hip into different positions. Okay, God bless, God bless. I'd rather have my legs wide apart so that I got good balance if you're going to start moving me like this. Alright, so what they're doing is they're looking at what's happening within my hips. Okay. Cool. So, you love to teach. Alright, so this is the way forward. You hold your awareness in your heart, you say, I love to teach. The universe, show me. Let the universe guide you into a path, and it will be one foot in front of the other into the perfect role for you. Let the universe just say, yes, I love teaching.
I love teaching.
I love teaching, and then just hand over to the universe. Let the universe guide you. And then all you've got to do is stay present, notice the signs, and you'll find. But what's happening is your mind is projecting into the future the stress you've had in the past, and it may or may not be true. All situations and jobs are different, and very often, I remember working for the bank, and there was this man that, I remember his name, I better not say it on here, but he said, I don't suffer from stress. He was a big boss, but they tell me I'm a carrier, and yes he was creating the stress for everybody else. Yeah. Right, another walk around. Yeah. Okay, and then I've got, let's just see how this rests within you. Time for you first. There is a great temptation for you to just launch into something. And time for you first. Just see how that resonates with you. Just say, okay, if I give myself some time for me first, how would that be? Notice how the whole of your being feels with that. If you're going to give yourself time for you first, how does that feel? Feels good?
Yeah.
Right, now try walking, knowing that you're going to have time for you first. Time for you first. Does that start to feel a bit easier?
It is starting to
Yeah,
feel
so
easier.
what's happening in her body is a part of the body knows she's going to launch herself back into a teaching, and it's going to be stressful, and she's never going to get the time she needs for her. So the hip's going to play up, give her a disease so that she can't work. Yeah? Whereas if you bring the light of your consciousness in and you say, okay, I'm going to take some time for me first. Now, a figure of 3 months is popping into my head. How would it be to take 3 months for you first? Would that be doable, achievable?
Yeah.
All right, so try saying that to your body. If I take 3 months for myself first, how's that going to be? And then just walk around again. And you can all do this with your bodies. If something's, work out what it is that's giving the pain, and then try different scenarios.
Not much difference there.
So has the pain come back?
Yeah, well, it's just sort of a general dull ache there.
Oh, it's a dull ache now, so it's not as tight as it
No.
was. Okay. Just curious then, let's try 6 months. Let's just say. Yeah. Well, I'm just curious, let's see, because the body's on our side. 6 months. That's a big time, isn't it? 6 months just for you. 6 months just for you. Look, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
48.
Right. 6 months out of 48 years, don't you deserve that?
But I feel I've had it with my children. I've had that joy
No,
with them.
They had that. They had you.
Mm.
6 months with you. Out of 40, it's not a lot to ask for.
No.
Right, don't try.
It's easier.
It is easier, so it's going to be 6 months.
Yeah.
It's easier.
Yeah,
Right?
it is easier.
Think how old you are. How much time have you given you? Seriously, through this lifetime, you've given it your babies. You've given it your partner, but how much time have you actually given to you? You know, and that's why we're not awakening spiritually as a species. We've got to give ourselves time, and we'll start awakening. You'll start uncovering your gifts. Life will change beyond your wildest dreams. Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. Give her a round of applause.